There was a time when turbo meant fast and powerful. They'd write turbo on a car, they'd write it on a Hoover, they'd even sometimes write it on a fridge. In the 1980s, turbo was everything.
Today, not so much. Today the turbo is more about efficiency than speed. It's more about increasing fuel consumption, lowering carbon dioxide emissions, than it is necessarily about performance. Take this. This is the new Porsche 718, the new Boxster to you and me. And that is the noise of a flat 4 rather than a flat 6 engine with a turbocharger. It's 2.5 litre. It is more powerful than the Boxster S it replaces. It's got 345 brake rather than 311. Just have a listen to it. Sounds not unlike a Subaru WRX or slightly my old Baja Bug actually. It's very much a 4-cylinder sound, not a 6-cylinder sound. Will that matter? Well, it might. We'll come to that in a minute. So what else is new about the 718 Boxster? 718 Boxster, will we just end up calling it Boxster? Who knows? Where everything outside, the only panel that remains unchanged is the boot deck, the deck over the back. Front suspension comes off the 911 turbo, so the steering is about 10% quicker than it was before too. Rear suspension is changed. It's got elements of Cayman GT4, which should be something. This one's an S on PASM, so it's 20mm lower again. It's on 20s. It's a pretty racy spec for a Boxster, actually. And what you might have heard is not a lot from the engine part. Immediately just cruised up to 60 miles an hour, not making a great deal of noise, not making a great deal of drama, because as well as 350 brake, which comes in at 6,500, it's got over 300 pounds-foot of torque, and that comes in at 1900 revs. Now 1900 revs is not very high for a sports car engine to deliver peak torque, is it? So let's have a little experiment. So slow down third gear to just around 30 miles an hour. It's 2,000 RPM in third. Foot down. And it does take a while. There is that little delay before the turbos start to spool and away it goes. But I'll tell you what, once you're above 3,000, there is not much in the way of turbo lag. And like the previous generation Boxster, which just had a sweet flat 6 that would rev to the heavens, it's actually revs a fair way, and it's quite rangy as well. It revs to 7.5. And even in second gear we'll get above the legal limit in the UK. So I've got a sports exhaust, and I've got a sports exhaust on. Does that sound like a sports car to you? I'm sure it really sounds like a Porsche, to be honest with you. Such is the way of the world when you've got a sports car to do nearly 40 miles to the gallon. I'm enjoying the steering, I'm enjoying the handling, I'm enjoying the sweet gear shift. Such a sweet, balanced, agile. The front and the rear just work as one. It steers quite sweetly. It's got so much going for it as a sports car that you can afford to lose that soul and involvement of the engine and get replaced with this slightly drony 4-pot. But it's effective rather than involving. In my mind, no doubt, this is still one of the greatest open-top sports cars you can buy, no question. Am I enjoying that motor? I think I'd be enjoying it if it had 2 more cylinders and 1 less turbo. Can you complain about it? It's inevitable. Ferrari have got turbocharged motors. Everybody's got turbocharged motors. You can't reduce emissions CO2 enough without putting a turbocharger on it. It's a bit of a shame, I think. Was it ever different with Porsches? Every time you get in a Porsche, they move to water cooling and complain, they move to electric power steering and complain. But the cars, no question, get better objectively overall. They get cleaner, they get more efficient, they get faster, they get more capable. Do they get slightly less involving with it? They might do. I have a feeling with the move from 6 to 4 cylinders and the noise this car makes, that is one of the more significant, slightly negative changes that we've had to get used to with Porsches. This is still a great car. Look, it's still a fantastic sports car. And the spread of power makes it a very easy car to drive swiftly. It just screams soul at you slightly less than it did before. And that's a little bit of a shame.